Welcome to Dick Hannah Chrysler Jeep Dodge. We're here in Vancouver to take a look at this. This is the Dodge Charger. We're going to specifically take a look at the GT today. This vehicle comes in either a rear-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive. It, of course, is the vehicle, the Dodge Charger, that police departments use around the country. It's a great piece of driving technology. We're going to put it on the road, see how it handles. We're going to take a look at some of the great muscle car exterior styling, and we're going to look at some of Dodge's great improvements to the interior. So let's not waste any more time. Let's put some rubber on the road and see how the Dodge Charger drives. The Charger has to be one of my absolute favorite cars in the world. And for multiple reasons. I think firstly because you can get so many different flavors, all the way from almost 800 horsepower down to around 300 horsepower. And to be sensible about it, it's great to imagine that you want 707 horsepower or more out of something like a Hellcat. But the truth is, for everyday driving, you probably don't want more than 300 horsepower. You have to think a normal family four-door sedan probably has around 180 horsepower. So 300 horsepower is already well exceeding that amount of power. And with an 8-speed automatic transmission, you still have something a lot more than most people have in a regular family vehicle. Then you put the Dodge Brothers name, designed in Detroit, behind it, and you know you have a great American sedan. This vehicle is so much fun to drive. First of all, it comes in either a rear-wheel drive, and who doesn't love a rear-wheel drive vehicle? It also comes in all-wheel drive in the GT, and that means if you live somewhere that the snow and ice doesn't work well with a rear-wheel drive, you can step up to that all-wheel drive version. There's a reason that police departments drive this vehicle, because it handles so well. So you decide to put your foot down in this vehicle and it goes, and it handles well, and it's well planted, and it's easy to steer when you need to change lanes or when you need to overtake or get on a freeway on-ramp. The Charger just goes in the right direction and it plants itself. And when you steer, it also goes exactly where you point it. The steering is tight and it's not too heavy, it's not too loose. As Goldilocks said, it's absolutely just right. And then what would this car be without paddle shifters? It's perfect if you want to go into that manual mode. You can shift over the gear shifter and use the paddle shifters as well. It has launch control, so not recommended outside of a racetrack, but you can use launch control as well to see how fast you can get 0 to 60 mile an hour times. The other good thing is you can stay within the brand. If you want to use this brand and go up in horsepower, you can change your vehicle to a higher horsepower rate. And you can aftermarket this vehicle up as well. Mopar, who is the aftermarket brand for Dodge, have a whole bunch of new parts that you can install on the vehicle. So you can tune it and personalize it through Dick Hannah to make this car exactly the way you want it. Now, it already comes very driver oriented as well. Everything's angled towards the driver, the screen, the shifter is even angled towards the driver at the perfect angle for me to rest my arm on the center armrest, and it's pointed towards me as well. So this is just well put together from A to B, from start to finish. But what goes fast as well has to stop fast. So this vehicle has big braking systems, and as you go up in horsepower, you also go up with brake sizes as well. And if you can get highly functional brakes on this vehicle, the more horsepower you get, the bigger the brakes get as well. When we talk about design on the inside, you will see design is increased in this vehicle as well. You get nice interiors, everything again double stitching, soft touch materials on the interior. And again, the Uconnect system always has the buttons displayed at the bottom of it, so you'll have media, climate controls, apps, navigation, phone and settings, always visual on your screen. And then everything on the inside swoops from side to side, so everything is nicely laid out. And that's one thing I've been very impressed about as well. Clear button markings, HVAC controls, easy to get to, room for everything like cups on the inside as well as in the door. There's enough room to get your bottle holders as well. There are clear markings for all of your tachometer and for your speedometer as well. A thin TFT screen on the middle between the two, and you can toggle through that and see all of the information that you want up. You get to choose. There's simple steering wheel controls, including cruise control, which can be used. And also Dodge have a very clever system. They have buttons behind the steering wheel to do things like volume control as well. So a nicely laid out cabin. It's easy to get around, easy to drive, and of course the vehicle is customizable. So I'll tell you, apart from a dynamic rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, it's actually pleasant to be inside the vehicle from start to finish. Dodge Chargers look amazing to me on the exterior. They've done an amazing job about refreshing them year over year. So each time they come out with a new exterior look to the vehicle, it looks so much better from year over year over year. They always have a great hood scoop on the outside, and that shows you that big bulky engine underneath. And this has a V6 Pentastar engine underneath the hood that outputs just around 300 horsepower. And of course you can step up to the big V8s, but this has good fuel economy as well and has that great performance underneath the hood. Now, of course, you want a hood scoop in your Dodge because you want to show the performance and the big bulge that goes with it. A nice C daytime running light, the air intake here at the front, and of course a low air intake as well. Here's a bit of trivia for you. These yellow pieces that go across the bottom bumper are actually to protect the vehicle during delivery, to make sure the lower bumper doesn't scrape. But a lot of people leave them on just because it's fashionable to do so now. So you'll see owners driving around with these pieces of yellow protective plastic along the bottom of the grille. There's a very square and muscular look to these vehicles. You'll see it start here on the shoulders of the vehicle. Big wheels that you can actually use your hand to get on the inside and wash them manually with. A lot of wheels nowadays have such small slats in them you can't actually wash them without a toothbrush, but Dodge wanted to make sure that you could manually wash these wheels and get right on the inside to keep them clean and shiny. Black mirror caps, black window surround, and the squareness is continued all the way through the body line. It has monochromatic door handles which actually blend into the door. This, by the way, is called Octane Red color, and there are 13 different colors on the outside of the vehicles. Again, dark colored wheels, continues with that very menacing feel and look to the vehicle. And then there is little indicator lights on both wheels, front and back, which really shows you the size of the vehicle because it has that wide stance. Get to the back end of the vehicle and there is also a little aero spoiler on the trunk lid. There's actually 16.5 cubic feet space in the back of this vehicle, which is quite a lot for a muscle car, and it has a 60-40 split rear seat, which means you can fold it down and put some longer items in the back of this vehicle if you should need the extra space. There is actually over 40 inches of legroom in the back of this Dodge Charger GT. Plus, there is 2-stage rear seat heaters and 2 USB-A charging ports. And if you only have 2 occupants in the back, you can have the center armrest down, which allows you to use the 2 cup holders here. Plus there is some space to store some items in the center of this armrest. Plus there is 2 bottle holders in the doors and a little bit of extra cubby space, so you can ride in comfort in the back of the new Dodge Charger GT. The Dodge Charger is definitely something I want in my garage in the future. If you'd like to test drive the GT, the all-wheel drive, or the rear-wheel drive GT, they are available at Dick Hannah Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Vancouver. Please give them a call or come down. They'd love to put one on your driveway.